continuing story of Peyton Place. Starring Dorothy Malone as Constance Mackenzie, Warner Anderson as Matthew Swain, Ed Nelson as Michael Rossi, and Mia Farrow as Allison Mackenzie.
A pebble thrown into a stream creates ever-widening ripples. Elliot Carson, away in prison for 18 years, has been hurled back into the stream of life in Peyton Place. And the ripples thus created continue to widen.
How much does Allison know, Connie?
Nothing.
About me?
Only that you've been in prison. That's all she knows about you. And I don't want her hurt.
I'd never do anything to hurt Allison.
I'm sorry I'm late. You must be starved. Miss Billings kept me late. Hello?
Hello?
This is my daughter, Allison. This is Mr. Carson.
Hello?
Hello.
Welcome home.
Thank you, Allison.
I didn't know you two were friends.
We used to go skating with the gang. I had strong ankles, but your mother had style.
You've been keeping something from me all these years. I hope you remembered to tell Mother she hasn't changed a bit. Women like to hear that.
And what else do women like to hear?
You're teasing me.
Well, how do you mean?
Well, you don't seem like the kind of man that would have to ask that question.
You just met me.
It's just a feeling.
I've been reading your column in the Clarion. You're very good.
Oh, thank you.
I worked in a newspaper once.
You did? In...
Prison? You don't have to be afraid to say it. That's where I was.
Must have been awful.
Wasn't very pleasant, no.
I have to pick something up at the Clarion.
Well, I better get back to the Chandlery.
And I better get back to Jane Austen.
Pride and Prejudice?
Mm-hmm.
Senior English? Miss Thornton?
Yeah, nothing's changed.
I bet she still starts her lectures the same way. Ladies and gentlemen, the only thing provincial about Jane Austen was her birthplace.
And I thought she made it up this morning.
Oh, I'll be back soon.
Okay, goodbye. Mr. Carson. Nice to have met you.
It's nice to have met you too, Allison.
Elliot Carson. It's good to see you. Welcome back. You're looking great, Elliot. A few gray hairs, but a lot less surplus around the waistline than I have. Hey, Connie?
Let's just say you're both as handsome as ever.
There's a woman who knows the right answers. You know you're being wasted, Connie. When are you going to get married again? Seriously, Elliot, if there's anything I can do, if the chandlery doesn't work out for you, I can always pull a few strings or arrange an opening for you at the mill. You mustn't be too proud to ask for help.
Don't wait on it, Leslie.
There goes Elliot Carson's worst enemy. Too bad.
I have to drop something off at the Clarion.
Nice seeing you again, Constance.
Hello, Les.
Were you expecting me?
I saw you down on the sidewalk. It seemed to be a very interesting encounter.
Carson was absolutely grim-faced when he walked away from you. I wonder why.
I merely offered the hand of friendship and had it violently rejected. Now, Mr. Carson is running true to form.
I imagine you did it with your usual subtlety and tact. You are a little heavy-handed in that sort of thing, you know.
It's the intention that counts. I assure you my interest was quite genuine.
Oh, now, that's surprising, Les. From all the hints I've heard dropped over the town all these years, I always assumed it was Mrs. Carson you were interested in.
As usual, you're out of line. And in very bad taste. I didn't come here to discuss Elliot Carson.
Yes, I gathered that.
What are you here for this morning?
I know it couldn't be anything casual.
I wanted to find out how George Anderson's doing.
Why don't you ask Mike? He's his doctor.
I intend to pay the bills while George is at the sanitarium.
Really, Les? Oh, such interest in two of our problem citizens in one morning. I had no idea you had such a civic conscience. Well, I suppose Julie will be very grateful.
George worked for me for a long time. So did Julie. Their daughter is still Rod's wife.
Well, I suppose you're entitled to know. Mike called the sanitarium this morning. Mr. Anderson is in a withdrawn state. He's very disturbed about Betty.
We all are. Do they have any idea how long he'll be there?
Of course not. They haven't started treatment yet.
How long does that take as a rule?
Well, there are no hard and set rules, Les. He's a very sick man.
Well, you'll let me know what I can do to help.
You're still wheeling and dealing with people's lives, aren't you? You still think you can shift them around as if you were playing a game of chess.
You're not such a bad player yourself. A couple of weeks ago, you came to my house and tried to bargain with me. For Rossi's sake was the general idea. Only there were fringe benefits in it for you. But it didn't pay off, did it? You know, there's nothing feminine about bulldog tenacity. Won't you ever learn to give up?
I don't know why we always end up at each other's throats.
You're going to lose this time, Laura. I've loved the Connie McKenzie to yourself. You can't break a man like Rossi. He's not Donald. You're outmatched. If you did get him, he might break you. Did that ever occur to you? You better make up your mind, Laura. I'm giving you some brotherly advice. Concede gracefully. For once.
What's up? I promised Mrs. Anderson I'd take some clothes out to Greenvale for Mr. Anderson. You want to ride along?
Do you really need me?
No, I just thought you might like to ride along.
I don't think so. I'll see you at home.
Yours?
Yeah, sure. How's that, better?
Yeah. Like to go to a movie tonight?
I've already asked someone to go with me.
Oh, a social item. Anybody I know?
I'm taking Allison.
Well, well.
Well, what?
Just thinking it over.
What's there to think over?
I guess it's called inter-family competition.
I don't see it that way. I mean, after all, you've got a wife.
Yes, somewhere in New York City.
If you really wanted to find her, you could...
How do you suggest I do it, Norman? Do I go to New York and take a room, put ads in the papers, walk the city streets, pound on policemen's desks, And then one day, in the middle of Rockefeller Center, Betty. I'd like to be a hero, Norman. For you. For Betty. For myself. It just doesn't always happen that way. Oh, Norman Harrington, you're a public nuisance. Hold it. Excuse me, madam. He's a little big for his age. You see, you're offensive. It runs in the family. You better keep up. You know it. You're trapped. Yeah, my knees are shaking.
Good afternoon, Laura.
Hi.
Saw your nephews down in the square in the middle of a slam-bang snowball fight.
Oh?
I was tempted to join them. Anything urgent?
No.
It's a little early for motley statements, isn't it?
Well, I had a little extra time.
Have to allow a little time to relax, too.
You got a minute?
Sure. Anything wrong?
No. It's funny, it's so hard for me to say this.
Say what?
Well, there was one statement that didn't come in the mail. I think it's time for me to quit. I'm sure this doesn't come as a complete surprise to you.
Well, no, it doesn't, but I'm sorry to hear.
Don't get me wrong, Mike. I love my job, and it got me through a very bad period. But I think I might as well quit while I'm ahead.
Well, what do you plan to do?
Well, you gave me a very good price for Donald's practice. I think I'd like to see some of the world.
I'd like to see some of the world myself.
You wouldn't leave here.
No, I wouldn't.
You're doing what you want to do. I've lived here all my life. Of course, that square down there ever since I was a child. Laura Harrington, the bright young girl who's done so much for herself. Laura Brooks, the doctor's wife, who's done so much for him. I didn't do anything for him, except push him. I'm sure you realized mine wasn't the most perfect marriage.
Laura, in Donald's letters, he wrote...
What did he write? That I was a great girl? Donald was a gentleman. I was restless, Mike. I wanted a brilliant, dedicated husband. Donald was a boy whose world ended at the county line, so I pushed him. I tried to push you, too. I'm awfully glad you didn't let me.
What do you want, Laura?
Now? When I find out, I'm going to send you a big, fat thank you note. You did me a favor a few weeks ago. You kept me from cheapening myself.
Laura, I like you.
I like you, too. Well, that's a funny way to put it, isn't it?
It's a nice way to feel.
When you came to Peyton Place, somehow I decided I was going to be your teacher. I gave you a lot of lectures on the local ins and outs. You were the one that taught me something. When you find yourself, you can live anywhere, right?
I hope so.
Well, I better finish those statements.